Is that a crow? Little bird? I think it's a crow. I think the females look like that. I think the male's a little bit different. No duck. I know the mallards, about a ducks look like that. The males and the females slightly different. I think a lot of birds slightly different, male from female. Cover several things here. I don't know if I'll make it down to. I want to get back down to Monument Hill again. Post some more videos from down there. There's another little hill on the north side of the park I want to get down. I want to get down to the Cowpuncher and maybe to that statue in Buckeye. A friend of mine said he'll watch my pickup if I park down. Won't hike the hill, but he'll watch the pickup while I'm parked down there. May take him up this afternoon. I don't know. Depending on, it's supposed to have a storm come in. Watching the planes way up there. Anyway, there's several things that I need to do to figure out why the radio doesn't work in my pickup. I think it's the speaker wires that are shorted. I can just disconnect the speaker wires and hook up some different speakers in there. That's real easy. I'm just lazy and haven't got around to do it. I need to see why the coax for the CB antenna. Of course, I may just buy another piece of coax and wire that up. Wanted to wire a CB radio up in my pickup. I got several 12 volts AM, straight AM 40 channel radios. I've got some 23 channel. I've got some 23 channel sideband. I've got two good 40 channel sideband, but I don't really want to put them in there unless I can. The 40 channel AM radios are, they might be worth $20 at a swap meet. The sideband rigs, even at a swap meet, they might be worth $60 or $80. Even at a swap meet, if somebody knows what they are. To buy one new, they're a couple $100. If you know what you're buying, you got to be into CB radio to be willing to pay that for a radio, and I wouldn't pay. I'd buy a used one like what I did. I got one over at West Tech. I got one with the cord chopped off for $2. I got another one for about $5. Those both work. CB radio just isn't as popular, but it's popular with preppers. Into preppers, off-roading or anything. If I got with a group of RVers, probably use that or one of the VHF or UHF radios that you can get, the low power ones that people will use between vehicles. You can get them for, I don't know, they're not too expensive. They're low power and you don't need a license with them. And they do have some little higher power ones. It's not like you're getting a ham license. It's a little bit simpler license. Sometimes, I've often wanted to get a ham license. They ask you technical questions. I'm pretty sure with a little bit of study I could probably pass it. No, I didn't. To get a general ham license, you need to learn Morse code so you can copy at least 15 words a minute, Morse code. I know maybe half of Morse code. I can never learn all of Morse code, so that's one of the reasons I never got a general ham license. But they have some license where you can get into the upper, like the VHF, UHF. I got on 2 meter, some of the higher frequencies. Most people aren't going to understand what I'm saying when I cover that. Most people aren't technical people. But anyway, I'm downloading some astral projection self-hypnosis. This one lady, from several years ago, and I pointed that out when I first come across these. This lady shows herself with, in the water. I'm sure it's a very relaxing position, but you don't want to be unconscious with ocean waves surrounding you. You don't want to go out of body. You leave their body. Now, if you were on the beach somewhere in the sun on a blanket with the water maybe 100 feet away or something, well, that would be very, very relaxing. That might be how I would want to have an out-of-body experience where I wasn't worried about drowning. You may not follow. I'm helping you follow what I'm saying here. Anyway, I get you kind of focused on Monument Hill. It's in the foreseeable future, going back down there and scrambling up Monument Hill. We got that on YouTube. We got that on Twitter. Not Twitter, but TikTok. Anyway, if somebody wants to join me. Oh, the statue down in Buckeye is Hobo Joe. Yeah, I probably won't head up today. Really, I want to go down there. I want to do it in tribute to Adam the Woo. Adam the Woo covered Hobo Joe. Well, Adam the Woo is interested in Hobo Joe. The story presented on Hobo Joe himself. The statue may be 20 feet high. I've covered Hobo Joe here a few times, but the story presented there was that Hobo Joe was an art project done by someone that was associated with Walt Disney. Anyway, the story that I remember from the newspapers was that Hobo Joe was a symbol for a restaurant called Hobo Joe. That initially there were 6 of these guys made, and this was the only one left. The other ones had been destroyed. This Hobo Joe sat out in front of a meatpacking plant. What Hobo Joe sits laying down for quite a number of years. The city of Buckeye and the meatpacking company went round and around for 2 or 3 years. They determined if Hobo Joe was a work of art or a sign, and eventually worked that out. He stood in front of this meatpacking plant for a couple of years, and then it was like something like a crowdfunding project purchased Hobo Joe and set him up where he stands today with some signs out there explaining Hobo Joe. And to this day, I don't know which story is true. Just covering that kind of travel. I've covered that a bunch of times. I'll try this story again when I go down there. I'll go down there in the foreseeable future. Probably not today. I'm lazy. Okay. Bye-bye.